Hello and welcome. Welcome, friends and family, and all light seekers, all healers, everyone. Welcome to my home and welcome to my sacred space. Here, there is love. I'm Olivia, and this is Tarot and Coffee with Olivia here, but we're not doing your daily pick a card today. We are doing a psychic tarot reading of the month of November 2020. I will also be using my charms here, and I'm going to pull out 4 cards for the 4 weeks in, I guess for the 4 weeks in November. I want to recognize, here, I'm going to show you guys my calendar that I drew up, designed and colored and drew up last night. It has some depictions of some important happenings in the month of November, including the Gemini moon right there at the end. But most of the month is going to be your Taurus moon. And we're going to talk about that. We got our moonology cards. We've got 2 moonology cards. At least, I guess we could talk about the new moon as well. But the new moon happens to fall on Dawali festival, which is the festival of lights. There is also, right before that, on the 12th, we have I'm sorry if I'm not saying this right, but it's the Baha urAllah, the rebirth of the world through God, right here around this area. It's a Persian holiday. And it's really interesting that it's happening this month, because that is a real huge part of what's going on this month, obviously, with the election and the troubles surrounding the election, because there are going to be a few, which it doesn't take a psychic to know that. But we're going to look a little bit more closely at that. And we also have, of course, the 26th, which some people call Turkey Day, some people call Thanksgiving Day. I really feel appreciative, and I think a lot about the Native Americans on this day that really helped out the pilgrims and were, in return, they got genocide for the most part. And so that's it. That's our calendar there. We're going to be throwing charms on that calendar, and let's go ahead and start. I'm going to go ahead and shuffle these cards several times, and then we're going to pull out the cards that are significant to this month. Here's the first one. The first one, we have the Fool. All right, I'll be pulling out 3 more. Oop, this one popped out while I was shuffling. And we have the Lone Man, sometimes known as the Hanged Man. I don't like to call it that anymore because of it doesn't mean the same thing. The Knight of Swords, I don't know, when you say the word hanged, it just has this awful connotation. And it's really more about perspective and meditation and self-exploration. And we have the 9 of Pentacles. Oh, that's nice. That's good. I'm happy to see her in this reading particularly. Okay, so let's go over what we have. So the first week in November, the Fool. What have we been underestimating is what I'm getting for that. And of course, with the first week in November being the election, the Fool card is coming in to say, did we really prepare enough? Is this really the ending? No, of course not. Once the American people make their choice, there's still going to be a lot of unrest, and there's going to be a lot of turmoil, but we'll look at that. The next week, we have the Lone Man with is that a spot on my card? There's a spot on my card. I'm going to have to cleanse my deck again. But we have this Lone Man here. We have this transitional butterfly moth. Since it's a moth, I do feel like it's has a lot to do with rather than guardian angel, I would say ancestral spirit type things. We also have the deer in the background with the big rack, which talks about longevity, actually. Wisdom. See how the fool's dropping his money out, but the crow is there as well. Okay, so this is a lot about introspection and a lot about am I seeing things differently. And also, every time I do a personal reading and I see this card, I really do consider what my reader, my querent, to consider some sort of meditation. The third week in November, the Knight of Swords comes through, making a decision, cutting losses, and making things right. This actually may be a military kind of card. And I'm getting that feeling that we will have the National Guard, which we do right now in Philadelphia. From what I understand, the National Guard is going to be out in full, helping our nation regain its balance, or possibly causing more chaos. But I don't think it'll be causing more chaos, because we have the Nine of Pentacles coming in and saying, you've been through hell and back, and look how refined you've become. It's almost like you've been in the heater, and then in the hottest of coals, and then pounded away on. That's our month of November. It's not a very light reading, but we are going to look at the charms now. We'll put these aside, and we may come back to those later. We are also going to talk about the moon being in Taurus. So the full moon being in Taurus for most of the month, all the way up through the 1st through the 28th. Your full moon is going to be, the 28th. Here is, your dreams need a practical plan. So this is a great middle manifestation. If you haven't already figured out what you wish for in life, write it down. What is it that you really, really, really want? Is it a new job? Is it a partner? Be very specific about it. Write it down. And then this is the month to take action. Make a practical plan, an actual plan with actions to go towards that dream, and then follow through on them, and you will come a long way. That's for sure. Okay, so coming up at the end of the month, we do have the answers you need are coming with the full moon in Gemini. We'll talk, we don't need to talk so much about that. This is just the last few days of the month, so we're going to just leave that here. I happen to adore Geminis. And let's go ahead and throw some actually, I think I'm going to need a sip of cup. I have some Starbucks mocha creamer in that, which, whoops, is pretty delicious, but I think I'm going to have a second cup of coffee that's a little bit blacker, so I can feel like I really had a cup of coffee. It tastes more like chocolate milk. Okay. So I am looking at the bowl right now while I'm mixing them. So I'm going to bring them up closer, and you can see what's in here and how I mix it up. And then I'm going to go ahead and rest it kind of right here. I'm going to touch the calendar. I'm closing my eyes and looking away. Okay, let's see. We didn't get a whole lot on the calendar. So I'm going, well, what did we get though? Let's see. Is there more to life? Illusion. Birthday hat. What is this? Trust. The Queen of Hearts. I guess we did get plenty here, didn't we? I'm going to turn that over. Oh my goodness, Lakshmi is over here saying Do they still love me? On the 21st, we also have the angel wing. We have the leopard, the green-eyed leopard here in Thanksgiving. We have the diversity marble here at the very end of the month, coming through under the Gemini moon. And we have the cat, which is also, to me, in this right here in the end, the cat also is like the lone man, asking us to see things from a different angle. Okay, so let's look at what we have here. We have here at the beginning of the month, illusion. We are deluding ourselves. I really do think a lot of us are not realizing. I think we really have this idea that if we get out and vote, that we can change the world, and we can. However, there's a lot of change that's already happening, and it's snowballing. So with the change of the presidency, what I'm saying is I'm not saying it's going to be more of the same, but in a way, a lot of things have already gotten moving. So it's really not going to be the end of this dark time just because of the election. In fact, it's going to fire up some stuff. Is there more to life? There is absolutely more to life. If you're asking this question right now, I would really like you to focus on the idea of the blue moon in this month, where you can really bring forth what it is that you really want and start to actually make it happen. Manifestation is not just about magic, although there's a lot of magic that goes with it. It's about putting into motion actions and actual, not just dreaming. Dreaming is important, of course. But if you really want something to happen, we have to make a plan, and then we have to engage in that, and we have to be somewhat obsessive about it in a lot of cases. We have on the 4th, we have this alcoholic beverage, and it has some writing on it that I can't really tell what it is. It doesn't look quite like anything I've seen. I mean, it does look, here, let me see if I can get a good focus on this. If I hold it like this. I mean, it does look like an Asian, I wonder if that means, I don't know. I'm just going to say it. Is it Chinese? There's a lot I'm not saying with that. I'm going to let you guys go with it. We also have the Queen of Hearts here, and that's a really good sign. And if you want to know who I think is actually going to win the popular vote of the election, I do believe it's going to be Biden. Whether Biden's actually going to be elected, I feel like, let's go ahead and ask. Let's ask the cards. We're going to say, is Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, are they going to, I almost said take the throne. Are they going to be able to take the throne from Trump? The position of presidency, are we going to vote them in? We're going to do a yes or no question. And the answer is yes, but it's going to be a struggle. So these two cards are in the yes position. That's the Page of Swords and the Five of Pentacles. The Page of Swords has been really resourceful and worked really hard and come through with decisiveness. However, it's still a problem. I call this the codependent card. So there's still, just because we vote Biden and Kamala in, it's not going to be the end of troubles. And then we have this card saying, the Three of Cups, and as it's upside down, what we have are our current President Trump and his followers and his team are really going to be doing their networking. And Trump, while he may leave office and he may leave the White House, I do believe he will, he's not going to stop. He's not going to stop with his own agenda, his own political party even. The cult of Trump, I do believe, is nothing to be, it is definitely something to be reckoned with. It's not anything that you should ignore or think is going to pass, because this is going to take some active working to right things that have changed. We're actually in a really exciting spot, a really exciting place in the world today. And I am excited. I'm not going to say I'm one of these non-biased people when it comes to politics, because I'm not. My family has been deeply involved in politics since long before I was born, and I was taken to the polls from the time I was a baby with my parents. So moving on, right after the election, we have a lot of little things here telling us. We have a little thing here that says trust issues. So, yeah, I think that's definitely going to be just a sign of things to come. We also have, this is a seahorse. And what the seahorse really represents to me is a lot of things. One of the things is the seahorse is very unique and non-traditional, non-conforming. The seahorse does things their own way. And some in our culture might think it's a little backwards that the men carry the babies rather than the female. So that, along with this, the dove cross, I really do believe that the charms right now are really showing us that, yeah, we might have trust issues. We might be worried about China here. Something about China, but to have a lot of hope, because we also have the Queen of Hearts here coming through, right here on this little card, and she is our most loving and our most generous queen when it comes to her people. Also, with the cross with the dove in it, the peace cross, and I really do feel like it's a message of hope that, yeah, things are hairy, and they're going to be very hairy around the 4th, the 5th, the 6th, and the 7th. What was our card that we got? I dropped them, the Fool. See the baby reaching out and not understanding that the fire is hot until he actually touches the fire. That's the only way that the baby really learns about the fire being hot. Now, there are lots of aspects to this card, but in this position in the first week in November, I would just like to say that it looks like it's going to be like we're going to put our hands in the fire and learn something. But that we need to have hope, that we're going to be doing things a lot differently. And that's actually thanks to Trump, and it might not be, I don't know how to say this. It's not the end of the world. I'll put it that way. It's not the end of the world, that we're troubled right now and that things are so difficult. A lot of people are saying it's the end of the world, and I'm saying if it's the end of the world, then it's just the very beginning, and it's going to take a long time for the world to end. At least in our eyes. As far as history is concerned, it might happen in the blink of an eye, but I just don't feel that way. Moving on to the second week, I think we got this lone man for the second week in November, and also coupled with our charms. It looks like right here, I just love this, because right here on right before Dawali, the festival that I may be mispronouncing, and it's something I would like you to look up if you're interested, the Baha urAllah, which is the rebirth of the world, and then we have the Om symbol sitting right there on top of it. The rebirth of the world through God. And I just find that, what else can I say about it? I think this is definitely something that we should celebrate, and understand that we really have been through a lot this year in 2020, and we're coming up on the end of the year, and I see a lot of hope offered on this. I actually thought I was going to see a lot worse, especially after I drew this drawing with all this fire. I am concerned about the fires in California, and maybe that's why that came out in this drawing, but I'm not quite sure. I do feel like that it has been a really fiery year in a lot of ways, metaphorically and actually. So we have the firefly. And the firefly is definitely about hope. It's definitely recognizing it does sometimes symbol guardian angels. Oh, this is, I think that was coming in the third week. So let's go ahead and move on to the third week. Okay, so the third week we have the Knight of Swords. And what I mentioned, the third week is the 22nd through the 28th. Is that there might be some military involvement, or there might be, well, you see, he's dressed up in his armor, he's got his weapon. It might be militant, it might not. I think it is militant. I don't know that it's the National Guard. I'm thinking that it might be we the people that stand up, and I'm not seeing a civil war breaking out. That is something I kind of expected to see, something along those lines, but I think that's really going to be put to rest here in that third week. If there is some troubles, some protesting that's getting out of hand, and that kind of thing, I really want to offer a lot of hope that it's not really going to last in November. I don't see anything about COVID here, so we might go ahead and ask something specific about that. Oh, I want to talk about this wildcat, this panther with his glistening eyes. And here he is. He was on Thanksgiving. And one of the things this cat represents is stealth, also grace, as in the physical gracefulness, not as in the grace of God, but we can also add that in there too. And I think that's it. I think it's about, I think this leopard or whatever it is, this panther or this wildcat, this cat-like beast on Thanksgiving Day is really talking about being, well, what is it talking about? I really want to, I'm not really getting a lot. Okay, so cat, beast, tigers and lions. I think it's just saying to really enjoy this Thanksgiving dinner, this Thanksgiving day, but be wary and on the lookout. Be wary, watch, look, listen, be aware of what's going on around you. That's really what I'm getting from that. So I think what we're talking about here is the actual, I think this is the COVID that we're talking about. So let me put a few cards down and say, are we really going to, is this something that we really need to be concerned about? Is family gatherings spreading COVID? Because that's something that we're told about, but I know that a lot of people are really tired of being apart, and I know that a lot of families are tired of being scared in their, they want to be hopeful, and having a family gathering is something that we've always done to get close to our families and feel hopeful. So are we talking about, do we really need to be careful about COVID, especially during Thanksgiving? And I have these cards that came out. The Nine of Rods, she is being defensive. She is holding her defense. We also have the Queen of Pentacles coming in saying, costs too much, does too little. And we have the Three of Cups upside down that really is like the negative side of the celebration. So it's like, no, you don't need to worry, but you do need to be very cautious and very aware. That's what these three cards are saying about Thanksgiving. And when we're talking about this cat figure, let's put some cards down and see if we can clarify the cat on Thanksgiving. And again, Wow. Okay. I'm going to shuffle a little bit better because I actually got two of the same cards, which is always weird. Because I should have done this on camera so you can see. Because what I do is I shuffle. Oh, I mean when I burn a card. So say I have 3 cards. I burn them into the deck like this. So they're always separate. And then I shuffle. So I did toss those cards because you didn't see how I shuffled. And I know that when we get, when we draw more cards, they often say the same thing if that's what was supposed to happen. So I'm pulling 3 cards and we're getting, oh my goodness, we're getting the same messages. So about this cat. Okay, so we have the Page of Swords saying, enjoy what you have and you're going to use your resources. And see the mushrooms at the family dinner. I think that's cute. Because we're talking about Thanksgiving Day. And then we have the celebration. Now, we already had a be cautious. Be very, very cautious. Wear your masks. Keep your distance. Do most of your celebrating outside if you can. Wash your hands often, of course. And then we have the Four of Rods coming in upside down, just saying, look, it's going to be different than what you expect, and you're going to need to use your tools that you have, your knowledge that you have in order to stay safe. Personally, I am not going anywhere for Thanksgiving. I have a wedding in December that I want to be healthy and well for, and I feel like COVID is going to go on a lot longer than December. However, anyway, let's move along. So we have the 9 of Pentacles coming through, and we also have on the last week of November, and then we also have the guardian angel symbol here, or the what I call, I think of it as the diversity angel, even though it's not a full rainbow. I do think about how we all have angels, not just some of us, but all of us. And that's coming in pretty strongly with that charm. And with the 9 of Pentacles, that's also saying that we're coming through. We're coming through. Things are getting better. We have a different perspective and a different outlook on life coming through on the other side of November. Milk, I don't know what milk has to do with anything. I think it really just does have to do with plenitude, and I think we're still okay as far as food goes. I don't see and at least in the month of November, I don't see famine. I don't see, we did talk a little bit about COVID. I do feel like there's another big wave coming. I did not see that in this reading. I've seen the Tower come through. And let me show you that card. And I do a lot of private readings. I do a lot of private readings every day. And I will tell you that this Tower symbol has been coming through for every single person that I read for. And it didn't come through in this reading. So I'm actually going to just bring it forth because it is definitely something that we need to talk about. And that is basically, where is it? Maybe it didn't come forth because I lost it. No, I don't. I take really good care of my cards. Here's the tarot. Here's the Tower. The tarot of the Tower, not the Tao. And the Way. So, yes. So, this card is a big change. Sometimes it talks about, and what I feel like, it can be like a spiritual death and reawakening. And I've seen that a lot in November. And that goes along with the full moon being in Taurus as well. I think of it as a spiritual rebirth and awakening. Death and then rebirth or awakening. However, I've gotten the feeling, and I read for people all over the country, all over the U.S., I should say. I read for all walks of life. It's amazing what I get to do on Keen. That is the service that I use. I contract with Keen in order to be able to read for this many people, the people that I do. So I've also gotten a feeling that this turmoil, that this tower that's going to come in and shake us all up, that it might definitely have to do with some kind of a physical something that happens in the world, natural disaster. I know there are natural disasters going on all over the place in the United States right now. We have hurricanes, we have fires, we have civil unrest, and I do think we're going to get a lot more of civil unrest in the month of November as well. I kind of feel like everything I've touched on is pretty obvious. So I kind of want to get some feedback. I don't kind of. I want to get some feedback from you guys. Was this detailed enough? I know we're talking about a whole group of people here and the whole month of November. But I do want you to know that your dreams need a practical plan. And that is what our moon says. And I really do, even more than most astrology, I believe the moon has such an effect on our bodies and our minds and our spirits, our hearts and our souls, that is not really recognized so much. And we look at the stars, but they're so far away. And the moon actually uses her gravity to, well, we don't even know what all's going on with the tides. Well, I don't. Maybe, yeah, leave a comment if you know more about how tides work with the moon. But when the moon's pulling on the ocean, this big body of water, it's pulling on our bodies of water too, because that's what our bodies are made out of. So it looks like November is going to be rough. But there's a lot of symbolism and spirituality right here near Dawali and this other holiday, Baha urAllah, the rebirth of the world. And I really feel like that this tower is coming here in the very beginning. Probably, right now, as I'm filming, it's November 2nd. So in a couple of days, I feel like this tower is going to really show itself. And then that's why we're getting so many hope symbols and symbols of resourcefulness, doing things differently, symbols of faith. We've got two major symbols of faith right here, and I really don't want to disregard the Jewish people, but we did not get the Star of David today. Maybe that's for next month with Hanukkah in December. But I do think it's really interesting that these fell right here at this time of the month. So if you can find a Dawali festival in your area and attend safely, I would really suggest it. The Festival of Lights is a really beautiful thing, and it did start in India. However, it's celebrated by many religions across the globe, the celebration of light. I think we're at a natural end here. I'm not sure how detailed this was. I feel like, yeah, I would like to hear from you guys. Anybody who wants to comment on this video, please do. Even if it's something you don't think is very nice, just as long as it's not mean. I will definitely take some helpful criticism. I was kind of hoping to film with both cameras, but I forgot. I have another camera set up. So what I'm going to do is, last but not least, we're going to do an overview picture of what's going on here. And you can take your time and look at that and look at what we have going on here this month of November. Let me get even closer so you can actually see some of those charms and words. I found it to be very interesting. I definitely loved doing the calendar. That was something that I really love, taking Sunday off and let it be a Sunday and just color and draw. That was just a really nice thing for me. Anyway, here we are. I hope you found this to be just what you needed. So please do take what resonates with you, but leave the rest. And I hope I didn't insult anyone. I know that I'm trying to get this working here where I can just not touch it. Sorry. I know I'm not, I am politically biased, so I hope I didn't hurt anybody's feelings, because I do want you to know that no matter what you believe or who you vote for, I still love you, and I still care about you, and I still consider you a valid human being that belongs here on this earth. Really, I really do. So we've come to the end. I already said that. Please, too, take what resonates. I already said that. Um, don't make life-altering decisions or changes based on any pick a card, not even this one. And do comment and let me know how I can improve these monthly readings, because I've struggled with them. And so, yeah. TTFN. Ta-ta for now, guys. Love you.